Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Unscripted. I don't do them very often, but when I do, I go big or go home, literally and figuratively. Lou Ferringo joining us. I can't believe you're here. How are you?
Thank you for staying up to be with me.
Well, thanks for coming in. You're here in town for the comic conventions, and you go to a number of them all across the country. And, you know, you shot The Incredible Hulk, what would it be, you know, late 70s, early 80s, and there's still a ton of interest.
Oh, yeah, especially almost 50 years later because 3 generations, they embrace the character, yeah.
That's so awesome. What are these conversations what are they like when you go to these comic conventions?
It's a gratification. They talk about the series, especially, you see, when I did the Hulk, every show had a laser compelling message about life. Mm-hmm. And you watch the show, like you still Bill Bixby, like you want to take him into your home. But it was the perfect Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde fashion. Because every one of us, when we watch the show, we have this demon inside of us. So we get angry. The things that we want to do, the Hulk does for us, like smashing phone booths, turning cars over. Yeah.
How many of those stunts did you do yourself? Did you do all of them?
I would say about 99.5%.
There was one where you jumped out of a window. Did you do that yourself?
Yes.
You did?
And I'll never do it again.
Okay.
One time I had to jump off a second-story roof of a house. So anyway, they had this big, like a canvas, like what the firemen used, about 20 people. And I remember I had to hold this woman. She was a stunned woman. And you're wearing the contact lens. I couldn't see in front of me. And I remember I was so nervous, I froze. And Bill Bixby runs through the canvas. He said, "You son of a," he said, "you better jump. If you don't jump, it's going to cost us $30,000 overtime here." He said, "Jump." I said, I just jumped. I know what I did. I just jumped. I remember I just landed on that canvas. And it was like, oh, I was safe. But I'm afraid of height. You're
afraid of heights, and you had to do that, and you'll never do it again.
Exactly.
What was it like to work with Bill? I'm sure that was great training in acting, right?
Well, Bill was a wonderful director, producer, and an actor. So I learned a lot watching him because when I first did the series, I didn't know anything about acting. So I had to watch how they filmed it, the cues, the lights, the dialogue, everything. But I was able to bring what you call pantomime. That means the emotion without speaking.
Which is not easy to do.
No.
So the fact that you were able to portray and the audience felt what you were feeling without talking.
Well, what I showed was a creature. It wasn't a monster. It was a creature, the sensitivity. That's why children love it. But you know, can you remember all the superheroes, like all the monsters like Frankenstein, Dracula? You feel for them. You connect with them because they're villain hero. People love it.
You mentioned the contact lenses, the wig, the makeup. What was it like? How long did that take to get on?
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours?
I'll be the first one on the set and the last one to leave. It took like an hour and a half to take off.
Wow.
And the next day I'll be training in the gym with a tank top where I start to sweat. You can see the green come through the pores. People said to me, "Are you okay?"
That's going to be part of I'm going to try something new on Unscripted. Untrue or True. So we'll play that a little bit later. But The Incredible Hulk was just kind of the first that started a whole career of TV shows, movies.
Yeah, because at the time, Captain America, Spider-Man failed as a TV series. The Hulk was the only successful pilot at the time. Opened the doors for you to see all the Marvel heroes today.
And how did that even come to be? I mean, obviously, you starring in Pumping Iron, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but you starring in Pumping Iron got you Incredible Hulk. How did that even work out?
Well, after Pumping Iron, I mean, they had a guy named Richard Kiel who played the Hulk. He was 7'2". He played George and James Bond. He didn't fit the part. They had to reshoot the pilot. So when I went to the screen test, they said, this guy's perfect, the physique, the athletic ability. So that's how the transition went from Pumping Iron, because at the time I competed with Arnold. We were only the 2 bodybuilders visible. They were trying to find the biggest bodybuilder they could find and able to play the character. And I was lucky.
Wow. The Incredible Hulk was kind of sad when you think about it, because he had to run off a lot, and it had that sad music. It was sad.
I know it is, because the fact that Bill hit all the ego, he had no control of the demons inside of him.
Yeah. Okay, so that propelled you into further acting and movies and TV shows. Is there one thing that you like more than the other, or is there something that has a sentimental spot in your heart?
Well, I like doing drama. I like doing TV, especially sitcoms, like King and Queen.
Yeah.
It's tough because you're in front of a live audience. You can't spend 5 or 6 hours take after take. It's 1 or 2 takes. But it's a gratification. When you do a feature film, you're with the crew. you see the effects later on the screen in front of an audience. That's later. But the comedy is fun. I enjoy it so much because it's that connection. You can feel the laughter, the audience, the energy. So I'm glad I'm trained to do it all.
And King of Queens, Remini, why am I spacing on her first name? Leah and Kevin James, those are professional actors and are comics. They do a lot of comedies. So, timing's a big part of that. You gotta know.
Oh yeah, it was funny off the set. They're very subdued. They're very quiet. But in front of a camera, like Kevin James, he's magic.
Oh, that's got to be fun. Let's go to Pumping Iron. Let's talk about that. This is where I first was introduced to Lou Ferrigno, Pumping Iron. How did that even come to be? Obviously, they wanted to follow around Arnold and follow you around as well for Mr. Olympia.
Well, it all started when they came out with the book Pumping Iron. Okay. They came to the gym taking pictures. They told me at the time, they said they were taking pictures of me, Arnold, a book about pumping iron. I was hoping that it would be accepted by the public because, the public never knew what bodybuilding was. So the book became a bestseller. And then the phone rang. They said, listen, we got the green light. We got the funding to film the movie Pumping Iron. So I had like maybe 7-8 weeks to train for the competition. I said, sure, why not? But at the same time, I'm going through a love relationship with my father.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, so when the movie was completely finished, it was beautiful because it showed all the characters in the movie. Like, for example, it's like the gladiators, opposing, who's going to challenge, who's going to beat each other. It was beautiful because that put us in the mainstream.
At that time, like you said, bodybuilding was not mainstream. What kind of looks did you get from people? You're walking, you are just this huge brick wall, you and Arnold, and what kind of looks did you get?
Well, when I was 20, 21, I went to a discotheque to pick up girls. They get scared because, I forget how big I am.
Yeah.
And she's probably saying herself, I want to go to bed with that guy. He's huge. Yeah, I know.
You idolized Arnold, and then you do this movie with him, and you competed against him. Were some things... did that change your opinion of Arnold? You became friends.
Because Arnold broke down the door for the tall man because he was the first one on the screen because most bodybuilders back then were like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Arnold was over 6 feet. So I loved him when he came on the scene because my body's very similar to his, as far as the mass and the size, the joints, everything. So I wanted to be the best in the world. I wanted to be on stage with him. It was great because, he's a real champion. But the fact that what he's done when he came from another country, being an immigrant, like I felt I have a chance to be successful too.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I watched it in high school, I had a certain opinion or reaction, and I watched it again. I watched it just as recently as last week, and I have kind of a different lens that I'm looking through. Arnold seemed like both of you guys were very nice guys. Like it was a brotherhood in the gym, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. But, competition you have to do when you can to win.
Yeah.
But then away from competition is different. I still see him. We play chess together. But it's funny that 50 years later, 50 years ago, exactly from today, I was there in November, Pumping Iron. I was 23. I'm 73 today. But 50 years later, it's amazing. We're still here. And then the sport of bodybuilding became astronomical.
I read it, or I saw in an interview you talking about when you guys all flew to South Africa for Mr. Olympia on Pumping Iron, and it's kind of crazy because it was all the guys that you idolized, and you're all on one plane together. That's crazy.
Yeah, and now that we're dieting, we can't eat sugar. Everybody's so tense, everything. But going to South Africa was tough because we had to endure like a 16-hour flight. Yeah. And the time changed everything. But it was great because afterwards we were on the safari. It was great. But I would do it again in a second.
We'll talk more with Lou Ferrigno about Pumping Iron. We'll talk about your father, a whole bunch of other things that I want to talk about coming up after this. So stay with us on Unscripted. Welcome back, everybody, to Unscripted. I'm with the one and only Lou Ferrigno. Still talking with you. I can't believe you're sitting in front of me. I grew up. When I first started lifting weights, I idolized you, and I knew I would never get to your size, ever.
Thank you.
So in Pumping Iron, getting back to our previous conversation, you mentioned love-hate with your dad. What was on screen was not exactly real life, was it?
No, because he was in the movie because they wanted to show the father and son. We never trained together. And being a cop himself, because my hearing situation, when I was born, I was rejected because I had to carry his pain. But then later in life, I realized that, in life you could choose your friends, but you can't choose your parents. So it gave me a chance to spend time with him because it's still my father. But the thing is, I took the best from him. But in the movie, you could feel the friction because he wanted me to win. And I was so beaten down, but at the same time, like even Arnold recognized that because his father was the chief of police, and Arnold was abused by his father too. But it's funny, that's why we have so much in common. But I ended up in real life becoming a deputy sheriff 20 years ago because my father was the police lieutenant. So it just shows you that I was told when I was a kid, you can't do this, you can't do that, you'll never be successful. So all his dreams, I've achieved those dreams.
And I got to tell you, son of a very proud Italian mother, I kind of related with how strict and Italian parents can be tough.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah, and especially a lot of times, are you full Italian?
50%.
Okay, you ever notice sometimes the mother's sick, the father said, "Look what you did to your mother. Look what you did." Like you're getting blamed for everything. It's the Italian thing. It's great because they get emotional, but it's what it is. Every nationality has a different bunch of different stories.
Different stories, but like you said, Arnold had the same relationship with his dad, so almost even different cultures, but same problems.
Yeah,
almost.
because Arnold had a brother like was a flamboyant, a good-looking guy. He wrote poems, but Arnold, he had the space between his teeth. His father would call him Cinderella. I know, it's the same thing. The same thing I went through. That's why it made us very determined to be very fierce in life and never take no for an answer.
The fences, have they mended? Were they mended later in life?
Yeah, because most bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders, have bad relationship with their fathers because that's why we get into training to say, hey, you can't beat me up. I'm King Kong now.
Right? Did you ever, was your relationship ever better with your father?
No, I forgave him because, who he is and everything. So basically we parted ways and everything because he know what her downfall was. So I forgave him. I just got the best from him. That's all you can do.
When you came to that point of forgiveness, I'm sure that was a weight off your chest. Because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure it was a lot of emotion and anger that you were carrying around.
Well, you got to
with
remember in life, you have to forget. You can't change people. You can't change your parents. Some people have great parents. Sometimes there's a communication problem. You can't get stuck in that mud. Fighting with the person, basically, you have to understand where they're coming from. Like whatever scars you have, you could change yourself. That's what life is all about today. It's all about looking for the best in people and forgiving people. You can't dwell on hate and then feel like inferior inside yourself.
Let's get to some of the folks at home might not be familiar with your story, especially your early on story of the ear infection that caused hearing loss, significant hearing loss. So walk us through that.
Well, I wore 2 hearing aids my whole life. About 3.5 years ago, I received a cochlear implant. It changed my life because my speech is better, my hearing is better. It's amazing because there's so many people today, they have a hearing loss and they want that hearing back to hope. So that's why cochlear implants really makes a significant difference.
So because of your hearing loss, it impacted your speech. You were bullied and picked on. You lived in a pretty rough neighborhood, and I'm sure that was hard at the time, but that kind of made you who you are today.
Yeah, because I didn't feel sorry for myself. I didn't want to take a second seat to anyone. I'm very driven. I can't take no for an answer. So that's why I love taking risks.
Okay. People at the conventions that talk to you that are familiar with that story, that you used to get picked on and then you turn into this monster of a man, I'm sure you give them a lot of hope.
Unload your limitation. Just move on. I mean, they learn from me, you can't compete with other people. You have to compete with yourself. Maximize your personal power.
Some of the reasons you were picked on was because you read comics back in the day, and then you become one of the most recognizable comic book characters ever.
Yep.
That's an amazing about face.
Well, they laughed at me when I was young, but the thing is, my dream, I just wanted to be somebody. I wanted people to look at me, have respect for me. So to escape the pain in my imagination, I had to read the comic book because I would have so much pain inside of me. But the thing is, I had a journey, had dreams, I had visions when I wanted to achieve. And all those visions, I made it possible. That's why I do a lot of worldwide public speaking. I motivated people that you have to embrace your passion.
Have you talked to those people who bullied you back in the day? What is that relationship now? Have you talked to them at all?
Yeah, and they became my biggest fan. And they look at me, they say that they're very thankful that I don't hate them because the size is different now. It's a big difference.
Yeah, that's for sure. How gratifying is that? Because that is every kid's dream. When you get bullied, you want them to apologize and say, "I'm sorry, thank you for forgiving me."
Yeah, but you get older, you kind of let it go. When you're young, you get pushed around and everything. You see, when I was a kid, one time I got a beating. I went home, I told my father. My father gave me another beating. He said, "Don't ever come home again and tell me that you can't fight for yourself."
Wow. You mentioned it earlier. I do want to switch gears. Your dad was a police officer, and you have been deputized in about half of the states in this country?
Yeah, then I went through the academy. I'm a certified deputy sheriff now in L.A. and San Luis Obispo, where I live.
So, do you go on a patrol? Like, what does that mean?
I do a lot of search and rescue because I want to get involved. Law enforcement is very dangerous. I do a lot of weapon shooting. I teach shooting. I go to a lot of different sheriff departments to speak on behalf that the police officers and now the public perceives and be. I mean, you put the uniform on. A lot of cops today are being attacked and being ridiculed. But put the uniform on if you want to complain and see what it's like to go out there. You're putting your life in danger because our job is to protect life and property.
For you to teach being a marksman, how did you get to that point? A lot of practice, no doubt.
Yeah, I practiced a lot, and then now they told me that to help work with the young recruits to shoot. I'm a marksman, but I love shooting guns because I love competing with myself. It's fun because especially when you go to the range, when you shoot, nobody can shoot guns for you. You have to do it yourself. It's a beautiful competition.
What do you like to shoot? What's your favorite?
My duty weapon is the H&K 45 USP. I like to shoot the Glock. I like to shoot the 6-hour. But the funny thing is that my father was a great shooter. Okay. So I used to watch him shoot when I was a kid. One time he said to me, he said, "You see that target, you see the two holes? You misbehave, the same could happen to you."
Wow.
Well, he was a good shot, yeah.
So that lets you know
yeah.
to behave. We have a great sheriff. We have sheriffs that are fantastic in our area, but I feel like you'd be perfect to be deputized in Polk County.
I'd love to.
Sheriff Grady Judd, if you ever get a hold of this, you got
to, yeah.
deputy
My
right
pleasure.
here.
Show my support.
So you're in town. You do a number of public speaking events, but you're in town for the comic convention. You're with a whole bunch of other people that you grew up with, stars in different genres, and I'm sure you see each other at different stops. That's going to be fun camaraderie.
Oh, yeah, like Lou Diamond Phillip, like Henry Winkler, or these different people I see from time to time. It's nice to share stories, to see how much success they have, the different film they have, especially to grow with them.
At this comic convention, Cary Elwes is going to be there.
Yeah, he's a wonderful actor.
Yes, he is, and we talked off camera. I didn't know that you were up for The Princess Bride.
Yeah, Andre the Giant, but I had to shoot Sinbad, so there was a conflict with the shooting schedule.
Okay. Darn. That was a fun movie. I did enjoy that movie, that's for sure.
It was a great movie.
It was a great movie, and Andre did a fantastic job. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have much more Unscripted. We got about 5 minutes left with the one and only Lou Ferringo.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to Unscripted with the one and only Lou Ferrigno stopping by. I got about 5 more minutes with you, so I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. And I thought we would try something different here on Unscripted. We'll play Untrue or True.
Okay.
You down? Okay. Is this true or untrue? That you were trying to get a parking spot, and this is back in your bodybuilding days. You wanted a parking spot. There were no parking spots at the beach, and so you kind of made your own.
Yes. True.
Walk us through that story.
Well, I want to get a suntan. I had a Volkswagen.
Which you need to if you're going to compete, right?
Before the competition, I'm driving around the block, right? There's no empty spot. And I saw a small car, like a Datsun, like a B210. So I looked around. Nobody's around. So what I did is I pulled my Volkswagen on the side. I went in front of this car. I lived in front of the car, the other car, by 1 foot. I went back 1 foot towards the middle of the street. So then I parked my car into the spot. This rabbi comes running down the street, starts screaming, foaming out of his mouth, screaming that I took his spot. Then at the same time, the black and white the police officer shows up. And the rabbi's yelling at the cop. The cop's looking at me. I say nothing. The poor guy got a ticket for double parking. He got a ticket for disturbing the peace, and he got a third ticket for assaulting a police officer.
So he assaulted the police officer?
Yeah.
Because he was that mad?
But the officer didn't believe that I literally moved my car into the parking spot.
It's crazy to think that somebody would be so mad to confront you. If you moved my car, I would say, yes, sir, I'll find another parking spot.
You got to remember, this is Brooklyn.
Okay, well. Okay. All right. True or untrue that you would after you would get done taping the Hulk, you would drive home in full makeup, and you maybe caused an accident?
Yes,
True. Walk us through that story.
Well, it was 2:30 in the morning, and I was so tired. I said to the makeup person, "Listen, I'm going home. I'll take the makeup off later." So I'm driving on the freeway, and there was an SUV on my right. I'll never forget. The guy looked at me and started screaming. He got so excited, and his car hit a bus.
Oh, really?
I just kept driving.
Oh, my. Well, it's got to be terrifying. You look over and it's the Hulk.
I know.
The eyes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What was the scariest part about the costume? Was it the eyes? For me, it's the eyes. I always...
No, the eyes, because you have tunnel vision.
Okay.
So it's very narrow vision, and especially it's painful. I had to endure the makeup, the retouching, the sweating, the wig, the teeth, everything. I felt like I was being pulling apart. Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
But you wonder why I was so pissed.
That's what made you angry. You were already angry going in. My last one. You had to get stitches, and for some reason the doctor did not have any type of local anesthetic, and so your dad celebrated that fact because you maybe cost him a game that he bet on or something?
My father, yeah.
I told you I did my research. I've been studying all week.
That's a good story. We were at this police camp, and so he was playing softball up the hill. So apparently I was standing under the fence, like a barbed wire fence or something. I remember I turned around quickly. I must have been about maybe 10 years old, and I cut myself on my toe, maybe an incision, maybe about an inch and a half. So I had to be taken to the doctor. So my father was interrupted because you're playing the softball game. He was winning. So I never forget, I'm sitting there, and the doctor said, "There's no anesthetic." So my father walked in. He said, "Get stitches, buddy. Good for you." Because he was so angry that the game was interrupted. I had to do it getting stitches, but no anesthetic. Still today, I can feel that pain.
Ouch. That must have been brutal. Lou, I can't tell you how much we enjoyed your time here. Everybody at the station, this whole place was buzzing the entire time.
Thank you.
If people want to follow you on all the socials?
Yeah, Real Lou Ferringo to Facebook and Real Lou Ferringo Instagram. Okay,
perfect. And then obviously this is going to live on the Fox Local app forever. However, if you're seeing it right now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Tampa Comic Convention at the Convention Center.
I'll be all 3 days. Looking forward to meet everyone here. Thank you.
I can't tell you. It's been such a pleasure. Lou Ferringo, thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much.
There you go. That's Unscripted. Thanks for watching.
Really Unscripted.